Hey, spooky friends. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. We're your horror besties, here to dissect our favorite and not so favorite horror movies, breaking down the screams, the scares, and everything sinister scene by scene. I'm Emma, and joining me, as always, is Aunt Allie.
Oh my God, I am Aunt Allie. Thank you.
Do you love that?
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a nice gift.
What have you been up to, my girl?
Wow, well, I haven't been doing nearly as much as other aunts have been doing.
Oh, am I another aunt?
You can be, yeah.
Okay.
I was more so referring to a certain orange-haired one. We just got back from Midsummer Scream. It's hot. I'm sticky. What have you been up to?
Well, don't steal my thunder.
Okay, hold on, you guys.
Some of you may have seen it on our Instagram stories, but the producer and I are getting married. He asked me to marry him a little over a week ago, and it was perfect. It was wonderful. Cowboy was involved, as he absolutely should be, and we are just so excited and just in our blissful engagement era, you know?
Okay.
We shall be wed.
I'll take it over from here. You guys! I'm over here freaking out, flower girl behavior. Mom and dad are getting married. I'm just so happy for my bestest friend and her soulmate and my best friend. You guys are both my best friends and you're getting married.
Oh my God.
And I'm just so happy.
We're so excited.
And you guys, marriage. I can say it. This from all of us horror people, all of us in spooky land, a big congratulations.
Thank you, my liege. Do you want to tell everyone what film we are reviewing today? Because I know this is one of your favorites.
You guys, hold on to your fucking butts, okay? Hold on to your fucking butts. This one's special to me because I'm greedy and I love this movie. I'm just a greedy bitch who loves weapons. Weapons from 2025, which is not normal for us to review cover such a recent movie. But I know we both loved it. You did a fresh fright on it last year with the producer, right?
Yes, it was so fun.
And I saw it after you did, so I'm so excited to now finally get into the weeds of fucking weapons with you. Tell me about your first time watching it.
Oh my gosh. When I first saw this, I was definitely a little bit like, wait, what is going on? Because I didn't know immediately when I got out of the theater, I wasn't sure if I was completely in love with the like nonlinear storytelling of it all. And I was still kind of just like processing and soaking it in. And I knew that I liked it, but I didn't know that I loved it. And it has taken some time. It was a slow burn for me. In seeing it in theaters too, I was like, oh my God, this is so long. Like, where are we going here? What is this story? What's happening? Since I've now seen it several times since that first initial time in the theater, I just love it. And every single time I watch it, there's more to see, more to uncover from the different like storylines and see how they weave into each other and connect. It's just, I love it now.
I feel like I've had a whole evolution with this movie, even though it came out a year ago. It came out August 8th, 2025, so it's just barely a year old. And it's already gotten such a rich history, right? Somebody won an Academy Award for it.
Yes.
It's already making history books in horror.
Our girl,
Amy Madigan. What a treat. And I think we had such different viewing perspectives. You warned me. You're like, Al's, it's long, it's a lot, you might not like it, but just give it a try.
Yeah,
Sit down.
I didn't know if you were gonna like it.
You literally said just give it a whirl, and then I watched it and I was like, holy fuck, I watched it 3 times in a row. It's like almost a perfect movie to me. I don't know what makes it not. I have a hard time assigning 100% to anything because I'm non-committal.
Yeah.
But it's a near perfect movie. And Zachy boy, I want to talk to you. I'm really excited for Resident Evil as well. But if you haven't seen Weapons and you don't want me personally to spoil literally everything, turn this off, go watch it, and come back. But if you don't give a fuck and are ready to hear us rant about it, literally everything, then let's run out the door at 2:17 a.m. together.
I love that. Let's do it. This film is all about when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanishes on the same night at exactly the same time. A community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. I mean, that clocks it. That clocks it right there.
Yeah, it does clock it. And I just have so much I could say about this movie. I don't even know where to start. Truly, there's so much to say and so little to say at the same time.
Zach Cregger, our director, he began writing this movie as a grieving exercise after the death of his best friend and the Whitest Kids You Know comedy partner, Trevor Moore. And he was actually quoted saying, "I was in post-production on Barbarian and my best friend died in an accident that was really hard to understand." Writing was just like an emotional reaction to that. I was spared because I was writing from a place of catharsis. Writing where process is the reward, not to write a movie, not to write my next project, but to write because I needed to just get this venom out. That chapter of my life was terrible. Writing this movie, Weapons, was me just kind of interacting with those feelings in a way that wasn't self-destructive. So like this was a very introspective process for him, and he gave us such a great piece of work from something so hard that he went through.
Yeah, and I actually, while in preparation for this episode, I consumed mostly interviews with Cregger and other podcasters, and I was like, holy shit, Zach, please come on our podcast. I want to talk to you.
My God, goals.
Goals for sure. But like you said, this film was a coping mechanism almost for him when his best friend passed away. And to me, that made me think so much about how like just responses in trauma, you know, this was his trauma response was to basically barf out this movie. Yeah. And when he speaks about his writing process, I'm not sure if you know this, but he uses TM, transcendental meditation, to get his story writing out. So he accesses a place where he just literally has to write. It's not him anymore. He has no choice but to write. And so when all of these other podcasters are asking him, well, why did Aunt Gladys do this? Or why did the kids do this? He's like, you know what, you guys? I don't fucking know. I'm just literally writing the story. It's being told to me. I'm not making the decisions here. And we'll get into this in the film as to, you know, I had some qualms when I first saw this movie. Yeah. I had qualms of like, why is there a floating AK rifle? Yeah. What is that about? Yep. And now after hearing Zach speak about the film and his process, first, you guys, I got to say, bring back director commentary. Oh. It's so much more interesting knowing the process or lack thereof, because mostly he's like, you know, I don't know. I just made the movie. I made what I wanted to see. I hope you like it. I don't know. I love his process like that. I also want to note really quickly that he said this was his way of not self-destructing when his best friend passed away, right? And I'm not sure if you know this, but Zach Cregger is a sober man. So it was so interesting to hear him. And I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. I am a year sober. Thank you.
Let's take a second and that's so fucking awesome, Allie. And we are so proud of you.
Oh, snaps to me. Hey, you guys, I'm a sober queen. Sobriety is awesome. I also, if you want to drink, go fuck shit up. Please do.
No judgment.
No judgment here. It's just not for me. So it was interesting for me to hear him speak about his creative process and how he literally uses writing as a tool to not drink. So it's such a relatable process. I use creativity as well as a coping mechanism. All I have to say is bring back director commentary.
Let's bring it back.
For real.
Bring it back to that. I love everything you just said on Cregger, and I love how deep you've really gotten into it. I remember when this came out last year and you just went into I feel like you just really connected with it for whatever reason. And maybe it could have been you were in the beginning of your sobriety journey.
Totally.
And you were like, hey, I'm kind of looking at this guy and just seeing how he's processing his emotions. And I think it just really struck with you. And I love that you have so much to say on it.
There's a definite line in the sand of before drinking, during drinking, after drinking.
Totally.
And this is one of the first movies that I was after drinking. So my eyes were open and I was like, holy shit, this is beautiful.
Yeah. So
there's something beautiful to that. It's very special in my heart. So Zach, let's get a non-alcoholic beer.
Your invite is here
Your
right
invite
now.
is here. Also, we don't need to drink that shit too. We can drink water. And I also really like Capri Suns still.
Girl, same.
Yeah.
Girl. This film too, it's not just something that we both love. It is very widely appreciated. I mean, Weapons was originally not scheduled to be released until January of 2026, before being rescheduled 5 months earlier on August 8th, 2025, due to very strong positive reception from all of its test screenings. And this resulted in it just being a massive box office success. It grossed 7 times its budget with $270 million for his second film.
That's something thing that I didn't fully understand until we decided to actually cover this is I was like, oh my gosh, Barbarian, that was a great film. Weapons, also great. Resident Evil, that'll be cool. And then I looked at his IMDb and I was like, wait, what? The whitest kids you know, and then like 3 movies with 1 in the can and 1 in like pre. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You might be missing one important piece. He is married to the Aquamarine.
Aquamarine. And if you know me, that wins you some shells in this house.
It does. It does. I also want to mention to you that critics absolutely loved it, and they praised Amy Madigan's performance as Aunt Gladys, and that praise like totally continued towards her Oscar win of Best Supporting Actress at this year's Academy Awards. Like, she just absolutely fucking killed it, and we're going to get an Aunt Gladys film. We're going to get backstory. We're going to get this awesome thing that I'm sure Zach wasn't necessarily like planning to do maybe in the moment, but like he just saw all the reception of how much people loved her character and they want more. One last thing to just pile on kind of the positive reception of this film. I mean, it has a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Maybe one of the highest films that we've done so far, at least from the IMDb scale.
I think the tomato meter is even crazier. It's got a 93% and an 85%. And I mean, those are really good scores. They're high. And I think even on Letterboxd, it's a 3.6. So across all the rating platforms, it's widely agreed. Do you have this weird feeling where you're like, I like that movie though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's also like you're proud of your child that's so popular.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You
like,
go, Zach.
You don't want everyone to like know. You're like, oh no, I want to gatekeep it.
It's like I have that feeling. Meanwhile, it's one of the most popular movies in the world.
It's so good. And with that, I think we should cheers to lots of things to celebrate, lots of fun things, and to talking about this kick-ass movie.
Can I substitute a beverage and raise you a can of Campbell soup?
Hell yeah, sister.
Cheers.
Cheers. This film opens with a child narrator explaining the central mystery of the entire film. So we are, looking at Maybrook Elementary School, and we get introduced to teacher Justine Gandy, who's played by Julia Garner. And she goes to her classroom like every other day, but then gets in there and notices that all of her kids are missing except for her student, Alex Lilly. I don't know. It's kind of even like, to me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the beginning with the narrator who really kind of sets you up on like, this is what you're about to see and this is why you're going to see it, what have you.
The difference there is with Texas Chainsaw is like basically like Star Wars where it's like, here it is.
Yeah.
But with movies nowadays, just like with anything with life, we have to be sugar-coated. It's like, okay, I'm going to have a little girl explain it to you.
I'm going to hold your hand.
I'm going to hold your hand with my arms wide out in a T.
Yeah.
So, but we're getting this exposition that essentially 17 children in this little town in Pennsylvania, suburbia, all ran out the door at 2:17 a.m. and they all were in the same classroom. So we're getting all this exposition told in the narration of a little girl and through this amazing shot. And we get this really great song too. And I remember Zach Cregger saying they spent a painful amount of money on this song. And I don't remember what the title is, but
it's George Harrison's Beware of the Darkness.
And sometimes you just have to spend the money on the song, as we know.
Hell yeah. I'm such a music gal that to me, that is probably what I would spend my most money on. I'm not lying. Like if I was a filmmaker, I would somehow find a way to make it happen with what songs that I needed to be in the film.
Kevin Smith, Tusk. 100%.
Literally.
100%. So if you've seen this movie, even if you haven't seen this movie, you know the shot I'm talking about. It's all the kids running out the door.
Their arms spread out.
Their arms spread out in the T and just running.
Yeah. You can't 100% tell, but it kind of looks like they are sort of all running in like the same general direction because they're not crossing paths. They're not causing chaos. They're not running in all different directions. Like they're going somewhere, but it's like, where are they going? And then boom, title card. We then start to see doorbell and security footage showing these children moving strangely through the neighborhood. So we got like the scene of it. And now it's like we're seeing it from like probably the parents' perspectives of them like looking back at their security footage. And just the whole town is like immediately thrown into a panic. the police, the parents, the school, they're all trying to figure out like exactly what could have caused 17 children to just independently leave their homes at exactly the same time. And they question Alex a lot because he was the only student left over. They ask him if he was like in on some type of plan, and he kind of just like denies everything and is like, no, I don't know what's going on.
This whole thing is a montage scene too. And it's like moving about this awkward situation where these kids are missing. And like you said, it's Alex is the sole child, and he's like, I don't know what happened. And Justine, there is this suspicious teacher, but she also showed up to the classroom and said, I don't know what happened. And then the little girl, the narrator is explaining, well, like a month or so went by and we had to go back to school for all the little kids who still needed to learn and didn't go missing.
Yeah.
The narration of the little girl is so funny.
It's so good.
Like, she's just like, I don't know. We had to go back to school.
Dude, like, honestly, forget being picked last in dodgeball. Like, imagine your entire class goes missing and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm the one kid. At least that's what we're thinking at the beginning of this film.
What if you're like, fuck yeah?
There probably are some cool kids that are like, hell yeah, I get to be out of school for a month. Like, you know. I also want to point out here, too, that it seems almost immediate that we're getting this vibe that the teacher, Justine, she's kind of becoming like the center of suspicion. And she's also getting like questioned a ton. I have a question for you, Els. If this happened to one of your children, do you feel like you would blame the teacher if this happened in your town? Or would you still be like, we don't know anything, I'm not going to like point any fingers?
I think that's a great question that I definitely have in my notes is why we're going to get to the scene where they're centralizing more in on Justine, the teacher, but she literally showed up just like Alex did. Yeah. And I'm sure they have security cameras. It's not like she's got a magic trick unless that'd be sick.
Totally.
The Prestige, hello. I just watched that.
Fuck yeah, it's a great film.
Christian Bale, oh my God.
Basically, we start our like non-linear storytelling with our first chapter of this film, which is with Justine. And she is the teacher that has now kind of become the main suspect. So once the school opens back up, the parents are going to have a huge, big meeting. And we get this subtitle card, too, that just says Justine.
And I think something that I really appreciated about this film that you said maybe initially you didn't was the nonlinear storyline, because my ADHD-ass brain loved hearing the same story several different times from different people's perspectives, because it just was like telling me the same story, pounding it into my brain.
I didn't even think of that. That probably does work for a lot of people's brains. It just like kind of helps them connect the dots.
You're like, this movie's so long. And I was like, yeah, it's like watching your favorite comfort show 4 different times through a different lens, you know? So it really actually helped me, and it made the pacing go really fast. So we're jumping in with, we get the same story from all these different characters' lenses, and they all connect towards the end. But now we're just jumping in straight into Justine.
Yeah. And the parents are just absolutely furious with her. Some of them are openly accusing her of knowing more than she's saying at this like school meeting. Then we are immediately introduced to Josh Brolin's character, and this is little Matthew's dad, Archer. In the meeting, he directly addresses Justine, asking, what was she doing when this happened? And sweet Justine, she gets on the mic and she's trying to kind of reassure the parents that she doesn't know anything. It totally backfires. Even, I think Archer yells at her at some point and is like, you're either negligent or you're complicit. Her little sweet act is just not working on them. Because, I mean, to be honest, like, what the fuck? Why your classroom? I think as parents, if we were parents, we would have those same questions. Like, maybe not directly blaming her, but like, do you happen to know something that we don't know?
Absolutely. And I don't want to poke too many holes because I could go on so many, like, I could be like, what the fuck so hard?
You could be literally Shia LaBeouf from the movie Holes.
Oh my God, don't even open a floodgate of Shia LaBeouf in my head.
ARMP to the T. What is that? You smelling dog? That's me. Okay, anyways.
I agree with you. I think that she should be protected. Why are they letting...
Innocent until proven guilty.
Sure. What I'm saying is why are they letting her get on a mic and be assaulted in front of this assembly? Yeah. It's this little teacher. There's so many parents in the class, not to be like, parents are weird, but like sometimes parents are weird. Look at the parents. I don't know.
It's very true.
So I don't know why they're bullying poor Justine.
Yeah. And it gets so bad that the principal has to literally walk Justine out of the building to get her safely to her car. And poor Justine, it's like a mob kind of just asking her questions, telling her like, you know, you must be involved somehow, blaming, pointing the finger. It's very witch hunty.
Also, I have to say, piggybacking off of why are we talking to Justine like this is why is Archer the only one trying so hard? Why is Archer the only parent out of 17 children being like, what the fuck?
I mean, they are at the meeting. He's just very outspoken. And I guess he does stalk
one
Justine
crazy
a little bit.
parent. I'm
No, you're
surprised
right.
there aren't more.
That's very true.
I'd be losing my goddamn shit. Oh my God.
So poor little Justine, she escapes this like meeting mob and she drives herself to the liquor store and she gets vodka on her way home.
I have to talk about this shot. The cinematography as a whole in this film is done really beautifully.
So good.
And something about how they frame Julia Garner too, as she's portraying Justine, you can kind of, when they're doing the shot of her from the back, she always kind of is looking over her shoulder. She's really meek and she feels small, just kind of like prey, like she's about to be preyed on. And this shot with her navigating through the liquor store, it's like she knows exactly where she's going in that liquor store. She knows the aisle. She doesn't need her eyes open.
She's got blinders on.
She got blinders. She has an appointment with that vodka.
I agree. I love this shot too. It's like such a cool continuous shot. And then we get it again a little later, which we'll bring up in a second. But it's just, it's a small detail that is really cool. And to your point, I didn't even think about it as like, she's so stressed out. And we do learn that she maybe has a little bit of an issue with alcohol like later that, you know, she is just one track mind. I got to get some vodka. And I think she gets 2 bottles.
She gets 2 bottles. And girl, I understand. Like, let's cut the bullshit. We don't want to come back to the store. We're going to be kind of drunk and we're going to have so many cookies in our stomach.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. What I love about all of these characters and their POVs is we get a lot of development. We get to know them.
Yes.
And we get to know their motivations. Like we know that Justine is turning to alcohol to cope with whatever Yeah. And we can tell from her too. I don't know if we've said this, but she seems like a, young 20-something single woman. Mm-hmm. Kind of a scary situation when you're being attacked by all these parents.
Totally. And small town minds, right?
Yeah.
Like it kind of, I think Zach Cregger intentionally made this like a small town because it does feel a little bit like a witch hunt, kind of like I mentioned earlier, or how small towns, when a bunch of people get the same idea, it turns into hive mind and it can get really bad really fast. So you almost have this fear for her immediately where you're like, I don't know 100% if she's involved, but like, I'm scared for this bitch.
And I think that really centralizes on a big fear is suburban terror. It's happening in our backyards.
Yeah. Then when she arrives at home, a couple of little things happen. Like it's almost like someone rings her doorbell, but then they don't. And then all of a sudden there's like banging on her door. And then all of a sudden like no one's there. She goes outside to investigate and she sees that someone has tagged her car with the word witch. My first thought was like, damn, I kind of like that. Not going to lie.
Kind of sick.
I kind of like the witch tagging.
I don't hate it.
But it validates my like witch hunt point, The next morning, the principal, he ends up putting her on an administrative leave. So she's talking with him. She's particularly concerned about Alex, who, again, is the only child from her class that didn't disappear. And Justine is asking questions about him. She's concerned. She wants to know what's going on. And she's increasingly thinking that something's going on maybe with his home life. The principal's like, you need to stop. You need to stop looking into things. Don't worry about Alex. He's been questioned by the police, what have you. And then it breaks my heart. She says, we were the only ones left.
Truly, that's a powerful line. That is some damn good writing.
It is.
You can feel the delivery, the writing. You can feel it because that's so true. She's again back on the single woman. She's like, I have no one else.
I'm also very much like Justine personally, where if something is wrong or something that I need to investigate or need answers on, I go immediately.
But sometimes I want to shake you because you just need to
chill out.
Just chill out.
Yeah.
And just like Justine just needs to just like let it sit. Mm-hmm. Let it sit. Let the police do their thing.
But I can empathize because I think also just be like trying to figure out answers. Like I too would probably go to his house and be like, what the fuck's going on?
You literally are Justine and we love you for it, but also just chill out.
Just stop. So after leaving the school, she goes and makes a police report about what happened to her car. Who she does see, though, when she's doing this report is she sees her ex, who is police officer Paul Morgan, and he's in the distance. I think he's just like arriving to work that day, or he's like just walking by or something. And they kind of make a little connection, and she like waves at him.
Can we do a little shout out to the actor, Alden Ehrenreich? He is so good. He's such a low-key actor that needs to be in more. He is so dynamic. If you haven't seen him in other things, please go watch. He's so good in stuff.
Yeah, he's really good. And what do you know? They end up meeting later at a dive bar. And at first, I don't know if you thought this way, but I thought this might have been like flashback, because it goes immediately from her doing the police report to like now they're meeting at a dive bar. I was like, wait, is there like a flashback happening here?
That's so funny you read it like that, because to me I was like, oh, I know this feeling so well, because when she sees him and then it flashes to that,
yeah.
I knew immediately, like, oh, they gonna fuck. I know that immediately. Like I was
like, I know this feeling.
Yes,
well.
They played a little bit of music, and I was like, oh, it's setting us up for a little bit of some unsolicited romance.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. At the bar, she tells him, she's like, how much the missing kids are just like affecting her so much. He also then at the same time makes some like kind of backhanded concerned comments about her drinking. And that's where we get a little bit of an indication like she may have had a problem in the past or currently does. Lo and behold, the two do end up sleeping together. And it's funny because he tries to be the sober one in the situation. And then she convinces him to like drink with her. And it just goes from 0 to 100.
Yeah, it's done really cleverly. I think Justine, while she does care about the kids always intrinsically, in this scene, she does not. She wants one thing, and that's his dick.
That's the deal.
She has her little spaghetti strap on, and she's like, I'm ordering my Jack and Coke, and do you want one? No, you just want the Coke? Oh, yeah, because you're sober. So he's actually trying to be sober. That's part of his character development. He's like, I can't drink. And she's like, oh, come on, just one. And he says, you know what? I'm not trying to drink. And he ends up drinking, and they end up smashing.
This all happens despite Paul being in a relationship, which we're going to find out in a second. So in the morning when they wake up, she drives him back to his car at the bar, and then they kind of like lightly argue about him helping her figure out what happened to the kids. And you can tell she doesn't feel like he or even anyone at the police station is taking it seriously. And she's like trying to make it very, very clear to him, like, please help me, help absolve me of this crime that I'm being accused of, essentially.
Low-key, wouldn't it be so frustrating though? Like, help.
Totally. Do you feel like you kind of sympathize with Justine, even though she's made some terrible choices in her life?
I'm right there with you. I know I can sympathize with anybody pretty much, because I know that pit in her stomach. She wants to solve this problem that she's attached to. She wants to rid her name of this evil.
Yeah.
As
definitely.
a people pleaser, you must sympathize.
I absolutely sympathize with her. You can just tell that even the mistakes that she's made in her life have probably just, there was no ill intent like behind anything. And I'm sure she just has made these mistakes and is like, just, you could just tell it like affects her so much, if that makes sense. Like she's just trying to live an honest, good life. Then this thing happens and it's like, oh, fuck, how do I get out of this mess?
Well, what do we know about her? We know at her root, at her base level, she wants love, whether it's from a man or she's a teacher from children. And now all of her children are gone. So she has to go to this man.
I can't even imagine how that would feel, because neither of us are teachers. So like, I'm sure she's fucking horrified. I know I would be.
That I can't even fathom.
Yeah. Justine then begins following Alex after school. So she has watched him. She's like watching him make his way back, and she follows him home, ends up knocking on the door to see if she can like talk to his parents, but no one answers. She then walks around to the back of his house and sees, weirdly, all of the windows, it seems like they're covered with like newspaper from the inside.
Reminds me of when like Zika or West Nile, don't let the mosquitoes in to your house.
Oh, God, scary. Yeah. My God.
Triggered?
Yeah, triggered. And at one point, she peeks into one of the windows and she's looking around. It's really dark. It looks very unkempt. Like it seems kind of messy. And she's a little confused as to like what's going on, because she just saw Alex go in there. So she's like, okay, he must be in there with his parents.
Yeah. And so she's seeing the visual of inside, but it's obviously through the slit hole of these newspapers on the window. And I have to say, this movie, again, I don't get scared easily, but this movie has some really good jump scares.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're about to have one because she looks, as she's looking through that little slit, suddenly she just sees his parents kind of in the dark. They're like shape outlined and they're sitting on the couch in the dark. And they're just like frozen.
I love smart scares where literally nothing happens.
Nothing happened.
But we all scared or scared. We all scared.
We all freaking scared. After this like encounter, she immediately tells Principal Marcus Miller that she thinks that Alex needs a welfare check. She's basically begging for it. And she calls him, it's kind of cute. She calls him, I think, while he is at the grocery store with his husband or his partner. And Marcus warns her, he's like, you should not have gone to check on him. I told you to drop the whole Alex thing. You need to be careful. You're playing with fire, essentially.
She is. She just needs to cool it. But I understand that she feels...
I understand the concern.
Every person who has this feeling, it's almost a selfish need to alleviate their own guilt. She really just needs to be able to move on.
1,000%.
She just needs to know what happened.
Yeah.
To get answers for everybody else, too.
Yep.
To clear her name.
Then Justine makes her way back to the liquor store, but this time we have a very similar shot, but it's from the opposite point of view where we are seeing it from the vodka shelf. And it's looking at Justine grabbing vodka off the shelf, and someone comes around the corner hot and heavy and just basically like attacks Justine from behind. And we find out that this is Paul's girlfriend, Donna, played by June Diane Raphael, who is fucking fantastic.
Can I just say, what a fucking random casting that I love so much.
I love her so much because my mom and I are big Grace and Frankie fans. So she's fantastic in that. I also love that she's married to
Paul Scheer.
Yes. Oh my God. Like, how fun.
Also has a good movie podcast. Paul Scheer.
Yes, we listen to it. It's so good. Then that night, Justine dreams about coming back to her classroom, and all the kids are back from being missing, but they're like creepily sitting with their heads down. Kind of reminds me of Heads Up, 7 Up, to be honest.
Did this whole dream sequence almost remind you of Insidious?
Ooh, yeah.
Just like the grainy dream element of
and how the spirits tend to just kind of be in place of wherever they were.
They don't really move. They're just almost there.
Yeah. All those kids are there aside from scary Alex. Well, all of them are there with their heads down except for Alex. So Alex is in the back row and he looks scary as fuck. And then she suddenly wakes up and she thinks that she hears something in her house. As you mentioned, Allie, she lives alone. She's single. And so suddenly Aunt Gladys's face appears and it's quiet, but it's like open mouth, like it's screaming. And I'm not going to lie, this scared the shit out of me. Even like when I know it's coming, it scares me every time.
There's a difference here. Sometimes, for instance, in Insidious, when we see that shot, I always shut my eyes when I know that shot of that, what is his name? The Shadow Man? Darth Maul?
The lipstick demon.
Is that what he's called?
Yeah.
What the fuck? On his IMDb, that's what it says.
I liked you saying Darth Maul because that's a little bit more accurate in my eyes.
Anyways, whenever I know that's coming, I close my eyes because I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But Aunt Gladys is so fun that I'm like, fuck yeah.
Oh my God. It scared the shit. It's kind of giving me chills right now. I've been thinking about it. But the next day, Justine shows up outside of Alex's house once again when he gets home from school. And this time she confronts him. She asks him if he's doing okay. And she just wants to know, like, what the fuck's going on?
And mind you, there's an important, Alex gets bullied at school. So Justine has an additional interest in his experience.
Totally.
You know, he does get noticeably bullied, and Alex tends to be a student that's like, it's okay.
Yeah. And he gets a little bit snippy with her. He kind of like yells at her and is like, do not follow me. Don't talk to me. Don't follow me. It's kind of crazy, but then she decides she's going to just fucking park outside of Alex's house all night and watch it. And she also doesn't get a response after knocking on their parents' door again. So she's just at her wit's end. She's probably just waiting to see if the parents come out at any time. And she also brings her vodka with her. So she's also like drinking in the car. And this makes
relatable. Just kidding. I didn't do that.
And this makes her eventually fall asleep. So it's now nighttime, and in the middle of the night, this scene also scared the shit out of me. We see Alex's mother just open the door, and we're seeing it from kind of like the car's perspective. So it's a little further out. It's not like a close-up shot. Alex's mom quietly leaves the house, but she's like holding something in her hand in a almost like I'm going to stab you motion. She approaches the car, and then we get this whole sequence of seeing Alex's mom get inside of the vehicle while Justine is still sleeping and cutting off a lock of her hair while she doesn't notice. It's like such a crazy scene, and it's so scary to me because like, I would never fall asleep in my car without having it locked, just like because I'm scared of unrealistic shit like this.
I didn't even clock that that's a scary aspect.
No, it's fucking terrifying.
That's probably the scariest thing is that she's just fucking freeballing her locks.
No, totally. And then Alex's mom, I mean,
yeah, that's scary too.
She's terrifying. There's clearly something wrong with her. We just don't know what that thing is just yet.
It goes back to the uncanny kind of aspect. It's like how in Obsession, how Indy moves in such a way that really triggers you because it's not natural.
Yeah.
This mother character is clearly not moving like a normal human, but it's not like it, but she's not like attacking you.
Yeah. It's such a crazy scene that happens, especially the fact that Justine has just like no clue what's going on.
Yeah, she's drunk.
She's drunk. Then our story shifts to Archer Graff, whose son Matthew is one of the missing children. And he is played by Josh Brolin, like we mentioned a little earlier. And a fun fact that I have here, actually, is that Pedro Pascal was almost in yet another 2025 movie, as he was originally cast as Archer until the 2023 Hollywood labor dispute pushed production where he was no longer available. What's even more interesting about this is that almost the entire cast actually had to be recast because of this like Hollywood labor dispute. And the only like original cast member I think that was still in this was the kid who plays James, Austin Abrams.
Austin Abrams,
Fantastic.
you little fucking star. This kid will win an Oscar one day. He is so fun. I can't tell if I'm writing the gravy train from his success from this movie or he's just like that time. I'm all of the things.
Yeah.
All of the things, but he is so good. He also he'll be the star of Zach's, I'm like best friends with Zach. I just call him Zach. His new Resident Evil that comes out in like 2 weeks.
Fuck yeah. I'm so excited to see it. So Archer, Josh Brolin, he is just consumed by this disappearance. He watches his son's security footage over and over again. He's trying to figure out what happened. He, unlike other parents, just refuses to simply wait for the police to solve it because the police are not giving him any updates. They're not like really helpful. And even at one point, I think I don't know how he knows this, but he even brings up to the police like, hey, you guys need to like look further into Justine because she had a DUI from 2 years ago and she also got fired from her last teaching job. These are 2 red flags that like if you guys haven't already looked into this, what's that theory? There's like a theory that whatever is the most likely thing to be the outcome is usually the outcome.
Is that the burnt toast? Or is that not burnt toast?
No, I don't think it's the burnt toast.
Gosh.
I forget what theory it is, but yeah, it's just basically, I think Archer is just trying to make sense of what is the most practical thing that could have happened to the kids. The teacher must be involved somehow.
You know what's frustrating is when somebody like that is relentless.
Yes.
Not frustrating because what are they supposed to do,
Totally.
But like how do you handle someone like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All they're trying to do, they're grieving, they're just trying to get answers, but like how do you fucking deal with Josh Brolin yelling at you?
Yeah.
One quick note on Josh Brolin is you said he wasn't originally cast here. I like Josh as our Archer because Josh has a sternness that Pedro doesn't have. He
Absolutely.
has an authority that Pedro really doesn't hold.
He is Thanos, so.
God damn it, you're right. He has that brand of, Archer.
Yeah.
It really translates well. And I love that I listened to Zach Cregger talk about his first interaction with Josh Brolin. You give your script to this famous actor and you're like, oh my God, I hope he likes it. So his first meeting was set with Josh Brolin and he was like 45 minutes late. Josh Brolin's assistant had to call him and be like, hey, Josh is waiting for you. And what was Zach Cregger busy doing? He just lost track of time playing Legos. I love it. He's just a kid too.
Just a kid. I also want to mention too that now that we're in Archer's part of the story, we've kind of gone a little bit back in time. So we're seeing the same perspective of all the events that Justine went through, but we are seeing it now from Archer's perspective.
Right. We mentioned that nonlinear storytelling. And now like I said, my ADHD brain loves this because I just get to see the same story told several different times.
Exactly. One night after that original teacher-parent meeting, Archer has another nightmare sequence, where he is following Matthew outside on the night that he disappeared. And Matthew ends up leading him back to his house. And as he's standing outside of it, looking up above the house, we get the iconic shot of the AK-47. And not a lot of people understand that. I didn't understand it. I was a little bit confused. My only tie was like, well, I guess this movie is called Weapons, so there is a weapon, in there.
So the funny thing about the rifle in the sky, I actually had a qualm about that too when I saw this. I was like, okay, so we understand there's 17 missing children, but thus far we haven't had anything crazy mystical. We've had like a creepy lady come in dreams. Why is there a floating weapon in the sky? Yeah. That's kind of out of left field. And I was like, what the fuck? I walked away from the movie being like, I have an issue with this. And then after hearing Zach Cregger talk about it, bring on the rifles. I don't give a fuck. All he said was like, look, there's some things that I don't have to explain as a director. And I put that there as meaning for my friend and just deal with it. He literally said, deal with it. And I was like, okay, I will. I think it literally made me cry.
I think, too, that putting the rifle in there is not a bad thing because dreams don't have to make sense. Mm-hmm. And later in the movie, if you catch it, someone says it's almost like the kids have been weaponized. And so we get that kind of weapons reference of what these kids are actually like being used for. So I wonder if in a weird way in Archer's mind, there was like a subconscious or something. Archer then follows Matthew back into their house, and he's just begging Matthew to tell him, like, where are you? Where are you? And he follows him all the way to bed. And Matthew's like laying there, and he's kind of just stagnant. He's not doing anything.
And Archer's saying some pretty heartbreaking shit. And I don't know if you know this, but Zach Cregger's dad actually left him when he was a kid.
Oh.
So he's probably pulling from some inspiration there.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, but Archer, the character's saying, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't tell you enough. I love you. All this shit during this whole dream sequence.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's so sad. As he's laying there, then all of a sudden Gladys's face appears and just wakes him up. And I think he even goes like, what the fuck?
It's the funniest line in the movie. He literally goes, what the fuck? Brilliant writing. God, it's so funny. And this movie isn't a horror comedy or comedic. I don't know. You can label it whatever you want, but to me, it's funny.
Yeah.
And I know that Zach Cregger intentionally wanted those laughs, and he got them.
Definitely. Archer then starts to compare Matthew's path with some of the footage from the other missing children. And in one of the instances, one of the first parents that he actually gets to talk to try to get some footage is Bailey's mom, Erica, played by Sarah Paxton. At first, she says no. She doesn't feel comfortable showing him any of the footage. Then he kind of just like waits by the driveway and then ends up talking to her husband, Gary, when he comes home, played by Justin Long, who immediately says yes. And then they all review the footage together. And this is such a funny, just like, okay, it's almost like a little kid. You ask your mom,
Mm-hmm.
your mom says no, go ask your dad.
Totally. And how they set up the shot is brilliant too. It's Justin Long's like, well, okay. And then we're at the computer with Justin and Archer. And then in the background, the wife, Sarah Paxton, looks pissed, just like, what the fuck?
Archer notices something important when he starts reviewing footage. He's noticing that the children are not just randomly wandering. They definitely look to be like converging towards something specific. So this then takes him into a spiral where he begins drawing lines and mapping their routes. And he tries to follow one of the routes. And as he does that, he actually sees Justine at a gas station and confronts her. She immediately is like aggressively defending herself and is trying to get away from this man who she could probably guess maybe was the one that attacked her car.
Dude, he was just yelling at her in a public forum.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, Principal Marcus comes running out of the background and he just runs towards her with the T-pose. He looks insane.
His eyes
are scary. His face has like black all over it. And he just runs right at her and attacks her. And we get this whole just kerfluffle of Justine trying to get away from him and Marcus trying to kill her. And Archer is able to kind of temporarily hold Marcus back as Justine then is able to like hide in the gas station.
It's kind of this fucking crazy continuous shot. There's a couple of those obviously in this film.
It's wild.
But it doesn't really let up. And hearing Justine, we're just following her in this shot and she's going, and you're kind of getting her natural reaction and sound as we're following her being chased. It's really brilliant and pretty funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. The movie then shifts to Paul. So again, this is Justine's ex, and he is one of the main police officers in this part of the film. Just like we said before with Archer, we're going to follow it back from that night of like the meeting and then when he also met Justine at the bar. So as Paul is getting ready for his shift, he is on the phone with Donna, his girlfriend, and she is explaining she's out of town for so many days. And we actually find out that one of the head cops, like the sergeant or whatever, is actually Donna's dad. And so she makes some kind of comment like, oh, make sure you tell my dad that we're on for lunch on Sunday or something.
It's kind of an awkward dynamic because it's the dad is like the sheriff and Paul is, some dumbass deputy. And the princess daughter, June Diane, what was her name?
June Diane Raphael?
No, what's her character name?
Donna.
Donna, of course it is, with her cute ass hair and her tracksuit. Donna is princess and, daddy is sheriff. And we can basically tell that Sheriff Daddy has hired Paul as a favor for Princess.
Yeah.
But Sheriff Daddy does not like Paul. Not good enough for his princess.
So sorry. She also asks him if he's going to hit up an AA meeting after work, and he seems very annoyed with her asking him. And he has to kind of reassure her that he's not going to drink and that things will be okay. And he almost is kind of like, I don't need to go to an AA meeting. Like, I'm going to be fine.
We can tell from how he says it that Paul goes to AA to satisfy Donna, not to satisfy himself,
Definitely. So as Paul gets ready to leave, he sees Justine reporting her vandalized vehicle and she waves at him. Then while he's on patrol by himself in his car, Paul encounters James. James is played by Austin Abrams, and he is playing like a homeless man struggling with addiction. James is what looks like attempting to burglarize a business. So Paul jumps in, Paul arrests him. And then during the confrontation, Paul is accidentally poked by a needle in James's pocket when he's doing just like a regular search. And Paul just becomes fucking enraged and knocks James out.
This whole time, you can kind of just tell that something sharp is going to poke someone.
Yeah.
And it just is really makes you on edge because then obviously something sharp does poke someone.
Yes. Paul realizes pretty quickly that his patrol camera on his car recorded this assault that he just did on like this, basically a kid. Paul releases James and tries to move on. He's like, you know what? You forget what happened. I'll forget what happened. I don't want to see you around here. Go. Then back at the station, Paul tells Donna's dad what happened. They have a little kind of like one-on-one. And he says like, as long as it doesn't get reported, Paul should be fine. But if it does get reported, he's going to be in serious trouble. It's a little bit of a...
Again, he doesn't necessarily like Paul. He's like this fucking kid again, covering up for this shit.
But Paul's like in this predicament where it's like, fuck. As he goes to get his finger checked, he at the same time gets a text from Justine to meet up. And this is where our stories really start to converge.
And just like when we see Justine react to Paul, we see Paul react to Justine, and it turns with the sound even. And something I don't know if you know is Zach Cregger also worked on the film's score. So I
didn't know that.
As we love music and films, I was like, oh, the score really lends to telling us how we should feel, because right now we're supposed to understand that they want to fuck and like they have a history. And so I was like, oh, how weird. I wonder who composed this. And he has writing credits. And I guess he does that on all of his films.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
All of his 3 films. Yeah.
Then after the bar, obviously we know Justine and Paul hook up, and Paul has to make that kind of walk of shame back to his car after Justine has dropped him off. Once he gets home, all hell breaks loose because he walks in. There's immediately a suitcase in the front, and we find out that Donna has come home early from her trip. He is so embarrassed to show his face at the station after Donna fucking rips him a new one.
I don't know if you can relate to this I'm sure you can on some kind of level, but walking in and seeing a suitcase of somebody who is supposed to be gone and you're like,
I don't think I've ever actually had that happen, but I could imagine that it's very stressful just for the act of not knowing, I'm sure the producer would just want to know if I was coming home early from something.
Well, when you've done something bad and someone shows up early, not good feeling.
That's very, very scary. As Paul is now on patrol, he sees James walking towards the station right as he's about to leave, and he gets fucking pissed. He thinks James is coming to report him. So he chases after him and is like, I told you to get the fuck away from here. And just is like, basically get the fuck as far as you can away from this station. And this gives us a great intro into James.
Oh my God, James. Austin, truly a fantastic performance. And what I'll have to say about James is, like you said, he is portraying a drug user, an addict, an unhoused addict. Something fun we mentioned, we were with our friends Shannon and Jeremy over the weekend at Midsummer Scream, and we were talking about this movie Weapons, and Jeremy works in the ER, and he's like, spot on representation there. He's like, that is exactly how a drug addict acts in situations like that. And he's like, this is completely accurate.
Yeah. Big props to him.
Yeah. Also, big props for Austin Abrams for portraying this funny crackhead like this.
And James is like, he's kind of living in like a tent in a foresty area of the town, and he's trying to get high. He's talking to his sibling on the phone about a new job that he got, but he's sort of fixating on the fact that he needs new clothes and he can't start his new job until he has new clothes. So he's asking for money from the same people that he's probably got money from in the past 4 drugs. It just is like, he's really panicking. So he ends up stealing a little girl's iPad. He tries to pawn it. The pawn manager's like, dude, bro, no. Then he tries to break into a building, which is when we get reunited with Paul. And Paul sees him, and that is where they get into their initial scuffle. So that's where the poking happens, all of this stuff. After Paul has let James go, we're going to now shift to a very serious thing that happens. And James, he's walking around in little Alex's neighborhood, and he notices that I think it was the driveway had a ton of newspapers built up. So James is like, oh, these people must not be home. And he breaks into Alex's house. Inside, it definitely feels like no one is home. So he's walking around trying to see what he can steal. And then out of nowhere, he sees Alex's parents just sitting on the couch. They're totally catatonic. He thinks they might even be dead. There's definitely something really fucked up going on in this house.
This is the funniest thing, though. Rather than him react like a normal person and be like, where are the cops? Oh my God, are you okay? He's like, shit, yeah, I'm going to continue stealing.
He's like, they're fucked up. So I'm just going to do what I'm doing. James then finds all of the missing kids when he goes down into the basement, and he freaks the fuck out. And as he tries to leave the house, Alex's parents get up from the couch and they try to go after him, but he does manage to escape like just in time. Then later, as he's back at the pawn shop and he's now trying to pawn some of the stuff that he stole from Alex's parents' house, he sees this ad that talks about a $50,000 reward leading to the solve of the case of these like missing children. Before he can even like report what he found, this is when we see Paul, seeing him from the station, getting pissed, thinking that, James is going to come and report him for beating the shit out of him.
One of the funniest scenes one of the funniest lines to me in the movie is when James is on the phone with the dispatcher being like, there might have been 17. I didn't really count, but there's a bunch of kids, just explaining the situation. He's like, I can't come to the police station though. I'm phobic.
Oh yeah. I'm phobic.
I'm just going to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm phobic.
James attempts to escape through the woods to get away from Paul. And it's so creepy because James sees Gladys waving at him in the distance in the woods. So he jumps right into his tent. He's like, fuck, get me the fuck out of here. And he's got his needles all ready to go because he's thinking like that Gladys is going to come into the tent. And he's got his needles ready to go. And Paul comes in, fucking guns a-blazing, and James just stabs him in the face with all these needles. And James is like, fuck. And he's desperately trying to explain that he found the missing children and that even though Paul is pissed off right now, he's really, really got to believe him. Eventually, Paul does bring James back to Alex's house so that he can investigate for himself. But he leaves James handcuffed in the back of his car while he goes to investigate the house. Something absolutely changes inside because it takes hours and hours, I think James is stuck in there for like quite a long time.
It goes from day to night, and something that I got to clock, I do have a little bit of a qualm, but every addict's journey is different. He's not withdrawing from his drugs in the back of this car.
That's a good point.
I mean,
I guess we don't know what the time frame is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. When Paul eventually emerges out of the house, his behavior is really different. He's like snarling, and he comes back into the cop car and just pulls James out and drags him into the house.
It's a total character shift. It's a different person raging out of this house. Just like it looks like his steam is going to come out of his head.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Okay, now we're changing things again. We're with Marcus.
My boy Marcus.
The principal.
Arguably my favorite character.
He's just the best. Marcus, he also is becoming increasingly concerned about Alex after speaking with Justine about some of her general concerns that she had. And he decides that he is going to go ahead and move forward with a welfare check, and he thinks it's necessary. He tells Justine that he will have a face-to-face with the parents at the school first, just to kind of like tide her over and make her happy a little bit, but also do his due diligence, because she tells him like, hey, you're a mandatory reporter. You need to make sure that you're doing your due diligence into this.
Can you imagine how exhausting being a principal is? So keep in mind, he's putting this, I mean, he has to, right? He's the principal.
Yeah.
But he's putting in all this effort for one student. There are 17 missing students, let alone the rest of the kids at the school. Imagine.
It's crazy.
Also, to have to know that many kids' personal details.
I know.
Like, this is your dad. No, this isn't your dad. Wow.
I know. So instead of Alex's parents coming in, we see an unfamiliar older woman who appears at the school for the meeting that Marcus had put together with Alex's parents. She introduces herself as Gladys, Alex's aunt, and she is played by Amy Madigan. She claims that she has been taking care of Alex's sick parents, and that, I love this part, she says, they have just a touch of consumption.
I love that Marcus is like, consumption, huh? You know, I don't really know what that is. And good, you know what, Marcus? Nobody does. And good for you for being a principal and having the balls to admit you don't know what that is.
Yep. And Gladys she's for sure really polite, but she's got like some deeply strange things about her. One thing I want to know, a kind of fun fact, is that costume designer Trish Somerville from the Hunger Games Catching Fire, actually.
Okay.
She dressed Gladys in a style that can only be called deranged grandma. And Zach Cregger jokes that his immortal witch must have inadvertently drawn inspiration from geriatric retirees when she decided to venture into this small town. He says, quote, I like to think that maybe Gladys went to Boca Raton and looked around and then just scrapped together an outfit and was like, this is what a person does, right? Question mark.
I accept that.
I can see that for sure.
I'll take that as truth.
Something else that I want to say too, just real quick about Amy Madigan, is that according to Zach, after the last minute recasting of the majority of the cast, Madigan really saved the film with her portrayal of Aunt Gladys. When discussing her character specifically, he stated that he gave her two options as Gladys's origin. One where she was just a regular person using her witchcraft to keep her from dying from a terminal illness, and then one where she was not human at all, but performing a simulation of a human being. And he claims that he didn't ask her which one she chose. So he says, I don't know the answer, but I love that I don't know the answer. I don't need to know the answer. I just need to know that it's all possible. So he gave her that kind of creative freedom to really express herself as Aunt Gladys the way that she saw fit.
That goes back to his storytelling too. He's like, I'm just the conduit for these messages to come through.
And you're bringing it to life.
I don't think I used conduit right, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's basically he's not choosing the story. The story is just coming through him.
Yeah, totally. Marcus then asks some questions about Alex and his parents, and Gladys just keeps on insisting that everything is fine. There's nothing to worry about. Then later on, as Marcus and his husband are sitting down at the TV with their little TV trays and they've got their hot dogs.
This scene is so sensory overload, if you will. We get a smash cut of a tray of several hot dogs. And they
7.
look, all I want is this meal. They're just sitting down with their TV dinners, their hot dogs wearing their matching vintage retro Disney Mickey shirts.
So cute.
And in the background, they're watching some program about ants being fungus or spores. It's giving us this weird insight to their little home life. This is Marcus's space to decompress after having dealt with hundreds of kids every day and parents.
This is very much how the producer and I decompress. We do very much the same thing.
With 7 hot dogs on a tray.
Maybe a little bit less hot dogs.
2 hot dogs. So Zach specifically put the hot dogs in there as an ode to, again, the whitest kid you know, his history there.
Yeah, and as an ode to Trevor Moore. As they're sitting down and they're about to enjoy their hot dogs, Gladys suddenly appears at Marcus's house and she's frantic. She's right outside the door. She's saying, oh my gosh, the bus didn't pick me up. I missed my stop. I had to run over here, all this stuff. And Marcus is looking very confused. He doesn't feel comfortable with it, doesn't really want to let her in, but his husband is in the background, just kind of like, just come in, like we'll help you out.
Well, if an older frantic woman is asking you for help, what are you supposed to fucking do?
You're not thinking they're super dangerous, you know?
Though she doesn't look normal.
Exactly. But she comes inside and suddenly the first thing she asks for is a bowl of water, to be specific.
And she's like, yeah, I'm quirky. I love her.
I think she says something like, people used to ask me all the time, but now I just, it's just what I do. It doesn't matter.
I love her. Well, she switches so quickly too. She was frantic. I need water. And then they let her into their house. And she goes, oh, these walls, I just love them. So she starts to engage with them in a more endearing way. So they're off put. They're not suspecting anything crazy from her.
She then takes a stick out of her purse and with one of the ribbons that she stole from Marcus's office earlier, she wraps it around the stick, then uses the stick to cut herself, and then goes over to Marcus's husband, Terry, cuts a lock off of his hair, and she's like, definitely performing some witchy shit. So she performs this like ritual where she makes Marcus immediately become controlled by her. And she forces him, it's so sad, she forces him to murder Terry after he throws up this like black liquid all over his face and then bludgeons him to death with his own head, by the way. This to me is what's going on with bludgeoning people in the head.
Also, doesn't Zach Cregger pound a Skarsgård's head against a wall in a basement in Barbarian?
Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just likes to pound some heads into things.
Bludgeoning. I mean, bludgeoning is a cool word.
This is the first time we're kind of seeing Aunt Gladys's process, right? Mm-hmm. It involves water, it involves sticks, it involves something personal from someone's body. And we're seeing this process. And I think something so jarring about this scene is we're watching these two lovers destroy each other. And we also see Aunt Gladys being so laissez-faire about it in the background. She's like, oh, wash my hands, put this towel right here. You finish killing him. I'm going to go on my merry way and take this minivan away.
It's like she does this all the time.
Yeah. It's so cavalier.
So one of the things that she does before leaving is that she commands Marcus to go and kill Justine by wrapping a piece of her hair, the one that Alex's mom cut off earlier in the film, around the twig. Marcus then immediately tracks Justine to a gas station, and suddenly we see Justine there at that point in the film where she is arguing with Archer, and Marcus goes and attacks her. Archer realizes something's really wrong, and he intervenes. He gets attacked by Archer as well. Justine, in all of this, finally manages to escape in her car. Archer then gets into his own vehicle and he pursues her as Marcus is also chasing her on foot.
Literally foot.
By the way, the whole chase becomes just like increasingly frantic and chaotic. And then Marcus is eventually struck by a passing vehicle and he's killed, like brain crushed.
Not to weaponize this movie on itself, but
good word.
Marcus is arguably the scariest weapon, if you will, so far, because he's massive.
He is terrifying. And he looks like he wants to eat you.
Yeah, with his black shit all over his face and his eyes bulging out of his... He looks like a squeeze doll when you bulge its eyes out.
Really good actor. Great job.
Oh my God, he's brilliant.
Very, very good. Justine and Archer are then left trying to understand what just happened. And I feel like at this point in the film, this is a big turning point, in my opinion.
They're bonded by this crazy trauma that they've just witnessed. Archer's like, I'm sorry I painted your car. We just saw a man die. That was our kid's principal.
I'm sure as the perspective of Archer being a parent, he's probably asking like, shit, could this have anything to do maybe with my kid disappearing? I mean, it's a small town. So shit like this happening is probably just like, it's a big fucking deal.
I'm fairly certain that if the principal of your school is running straight at you with black gut coming out of his mouth, shit's amok.
It's amok.
It's amok.
Justine and Archer, they finally then stop treating each other as enemies, and they kind of like come together in this very interesting part of the film. Archer notices something very, very specific about Marcus's movement. And he talks about how, you know, when he ran towards Justine, he had that same strange, unnatural posture that he saw all of the kids have on the surveillance footage, the T, the iconic T. So Archer then, he kind of just decides he's going to confide in Justine on his like theories, and he shows Justine his map.
Well, it's almost like how in Fright Night, when our believer was confronted by another believer and didn't want to believe them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like how Archer is like so upset and now he has Justine to confide in, but he's like, at first he was probably like, I don't want to confide in you. And now he's like, okay, fine.
But we're kind of in this together. And like you said, we've had this like shared trauma now too. We both equally are like, what the fuck just happened?
And now Justine said earlier, we're the only ones left. And now, I mean, Marcus was kind of included in that, and Marcus is now gone, and now she's like, all right, where's my roster? Archer is also, we're the only ones left too.
Yeah.
She's pulling her resources of people who can relate.
Definitely.
And help.
He then explains to Justine that the children's routes are all appearing to converge at the same location. And this is where he says the line about weaponizing. He's like, it's almost like the kids are weaponized.
Just a side note, I'm really not a fan of when a movie's title is like said in the film. I don't know why. It bothers me.
The producer actually has a list on Letterboxd for any time a film says its own name in the film that he watches.
What's worse is having the name in the film and it just sounds unnatural, or a really random movie title that makes no sense. Like it has nothing to do. It could have been something so vague and so many different. Like it's complicated. They never say it's complicated in that. It could have been something else.
I do hate when a film says that their name in an unnatural way. So I think I do hate that more.
I feel like I could tell Zach didn't want to put that in there. I could tell Josh didn't want to say it. I felt it.
I felt it. Justine immediately recognizes the address that seems to be the convergent point of all of these kids, and it's Alex Lily's house.
Again, why does she know where her student lives?
Small town. I'm telling you, I bet you that she knows where everybody fucking lives.
Totes.
They realize in this moment that the answer that they've likely been searching for probably has something to do with the inside of Alex's home the entire time, and kind of like, what the fuck is going on there? There has been too many weird things now at this point where it's like, okay, what's happening at this house? We need some answers.
Do you think that all of those weird things would lead you there?
Okay. I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. I probably would have tried harder than Justine had to try to talk to the parents.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd keep trying.
Yeah, no, don't do that, okay? Don't do that.
Now in this part of the film, we get our final like main character story before we get into Gladys and just like all of her madness. And we've kind of gone full circle, and we're back with Alex.
It almost shifts into a completely different tone. It's a lighter feeling just to match Alex's energy. Mm-hmm. And it's almost, I don't know, this was probably intentional, but the camera angles are almost lower. So we're at Alex's eye level. It feels a little bit like we're looking up at adults.
Yes. Oh, so true. You know true. We find out too that Alex is quiet. He's pretty isolated at school.
He's bullied,
particularly by Archer's son, Matthew.
Who reminds me of O'Doyle Rules.
Oh my God. What a good comparison.
For real.
At home, Alex's parents tell him that his Aunt Gladys is going to be coming to stay with them. She is extremely sick and frail, and they're going to be taking care of her. And you can tell Alex is uncomfortable immediately in the whole situation. As soon as she comes home, he's like, what the fuck? I've never met you before. You're freaking me out.
For context, we know that Alex's parents, don't have a strong relationship either. They're like, the only family she has. What else are we doing?
Totally.
You know, what else can she do?
Yeah, it's not like they're super close.
Yeah.
Alex then notices some strange things in her room, including a very unusual kind of small tree, almost like a little bonsai tree or something, some strange like ritual objects, and then also a red wig. Gladys clearly isn't simply just a sick elderly woman. There's more going on here. Then after coming home from school one day, he notices that his mom and dad are acting super strange. They're sitting at the dining table. They're looking very sick and withdrawn. They're not really reacting to him. And Gladys appears, and she looks like much healthier than she did when she like first arrived at their house. Aunt Gladys, she gets like kind of mad at Alex too because, you know, he's come downstairs. They're like, I think trying to have dinner or something, but his parents are acting really strange. And Alex is for sure confused. Aunt Gladys is acting like everything is normal. And then I think she asks him to sit and he doesn't. So she's like, you know what, go upstairs and get ready for bed and like, don't come out. So she forces him upstairs. Then the next morning, he comes downstairs and his parents are still sitting at the dining table. And Gladys then asks him again to come and sit. She's not wearing her wig this time, so it's like kind of spooky.
Okay, homegirl looks like Dobby, and I'm so here for it.
She totally does. And she proceeds to tell him and actually make him promise not to tell anyone that she's there and that his parents are just simply, quote unquote, resting.
And I have to say, up until this point, we've not seen one unified brand of Gladys. We're seeing so many different angles of her, right?
So true.
We're seeing the faceless figure when she's going from the car to the house that Alex first sees, you know, the shadow figure, if you will. We're seeing this dolled up Boca Raton grandma looking crazy lady. And then at home with Alex, when she's Dobby with her little
headscarf
and her 3 strands of hair, she's more serious. Her voice goes into she goes from up there to down. Okay, look, Alex, these people are coming to the house. We have, you know, so she switches tones.
There's still a tone though about her weirdly that even every time I watch it, I'm like, gosh, she's still so nice.
Oh, trust me. I'm team Gladys.
I'm like, she hasn't been inherently mean to Alex
truly
at all.
No, she's done nothing wrong. So trust me, I'm team Aunt Gladys.
Yeah. In this moment, though, she demonstrates her power to Alex. So she uses a ritual involving some blood, a thorny twig, and some hair, likely from Alex's parents, to make them start to violently attack themselves with some forks that they have. They basically just start stabbing their own cheeks. And it looks like it's not causing them any pain. It just looks like, you know, someone just taking a fork and just going for it. But poor Alex, he's begging her to stop. It's like so heartbreaking. And Gladys agrees, but only after making Alex promise never to tell anyone about her. She also threatens his parents even more to just ensure that he obeys. She then tells him he's going to have to take care of his parents and, you know, make sure that they're okay while they're under her control. And he has to feed them soup day after day and still continue going to school as if nothing is wrong.
And something funny about Alex is that he just does.
He just does what he's told.
Because I feel like Alex feels guilty and he feels this is his fault for whatever reason. And he's just moving with guilt.
Yeah. He's like, whatever I can do to basically make sure that this doesn't get any worse.
To make sure they don't fucking stab themselves again because of me. That's also why he doesn't go to authority himself. He's just trying to get through it.
Correct. Also, when you're a child, I think sometimes you don't realize that other people can help you out of certain situations. And you sort of think, as long as I just do what I'm told, then I'm not making it any worse. But you don't realize what you can try to do to make it better.
Girl, as an adult, we do that.
That's very true. I actually have a fun fact here too. So the wrecked parents are a detail that Cregger says that he drew from his own history. He says, quote, "The last chapter of this movie is straight up autobiographical. That was my childhood. You live with an alcoholic parent and there's this inversion of the dynamic. The child can become the caregiver. The house becomes a scary place. You can go to school and act like everything is cool and then you come home and you hide from a zombie parent. That felt so real to me." I did not know that until researching this film, and that breaks my heart. And it's so obvious how it's put in the film with this part with Alex.
Isn't it kind of funny how you remove the witch and it's just normal problems?
Dude, yes. It's an allegory for normal problems in this film. Then one night, Gladys randomly calls for Alex, and he finds her in her bedroom, and she's looking pretty bad. She's definitely like weakening again, and whatever her sickness is.
Homegirl just iron deficient.
I don't know about that, sister.
That's true.
Maybe a little bit more. She kind of explains to Alex that the power that she's drawing from Alex's parents isn't enough. And she tells him, like, I need more. She promises that if he helps her, she will eventually go back home. But she makes the promise kind of, I don't know.
It's kind of funny. Alex is smart.
Yes.
He literally says, all right, bitch, if I do this, will you go home right after? And she looks at him and with eyes being like, yes, I'll go home right after, you little fucking asshole.
Even though you can tell it's underlying that she's like, no, I'm lying.
Of course.
You know?
Well, it's funny that she also understands that he can cut back.
She then orders Alex to collect something belonging to each of his classmates. So the next day at school, he secretly takes the personalized labels from each of their classroom storage bins. And Gladys later then uses those objects as part of her ritual to gain control of all of the kids. And Alex, poor little Alex, is believing that he's like helping save his parents. But instead, he's just helping Gladys to prepare the children, so to speak.
And again, we see Alex moving through these actions with hesitancy. Obviously, he doesn't want to be doing this to it. Even the classmates that's bullying him, he's feeding him soup. And it's like maybe
he has to take care of the kids too, make sure that they stay alive.
It goes back to he feels guilty too, because now not only his parents but his classmates, he feels like he's done this to everybody in his life. It's like, okay, maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's crushing guilt. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Then late at night, Gladys performs the ritual. And at exactly 2:17 a.m., the 17 children wake up, they leave their houses, and they all run in that T pattern towards Alex's house. They then enter the Lily house and disappear into the basement. And Alex just has to watch in horror as his classmates are brought under Aunt Gladys's control.
Another kind of crazy shot. It's both Gladys and Alex just standing on either side of this open, dark door. And the kids are, I don't know how to explain it. They're just flooding in. It's comedic. They're just running into this open door cell. And poor Aunt Gladys is like, yes, come. And poor Alex is looking at each one of them like, oh, fuck.
It's giving Sarah Sanderson.
Literally, yes.
Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a garden
Stop
of
looking at me like that.
magic.
I hate that.
I'm going to haunt your dreams.
Okay.
So by morning, all 17 children are missing, and Alex is the only student from class who remains.
And that's where we opened in the film. Can I tell you before I forget this, that in the beginning of Cregger's original script, it opened with 17 children unaliving themselves.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And when he spoke about it to his like editor or like his manager, whoever looks at his ideas, they were like, oh, Brother Wright, why are the kids dying? Why are they doing this? And he's like, I don't know. I just wrote, this is what came out of me. They're like, how about we rework this, rethink this? He's like, okay. And that's how it turned into
to what it is.
To what it is.
Jesus.
Could have been very different.
My God. Yeah, that would have been a very different film.
Not 17, 27 of those.
No.
Yeah.
After the children disappear and the town becomes in that like uproar of all of them missing, Gladys does have to kind of like temporarily get them out of the house in order to keep any suspicions from pointing to them. And as we know now, the police also did come and quote unquote question Alex's parents and Alex's family. So in preparation for that, Gladys makes Alex clean everything, makes him make sure that the house is like all perfect. And when the police arrive, she acts like a totally concerned family member. And Alex is just forced to behave normally, like nothing's wrong.
It's kind of scary because that's, to me, it's such a scary thought of being a kid and your authority figure being the scary one, being the evil one. You know, right now, his parent, his unofficial parent is the monster.
Do you feel like Gladys is essentially weaponizing Alex's love for his parents?
Truly, I just think she's trying to stay hot. I love her.
I love her. Do your thing, girl.
It's hard for me to understand her actual motive when I can't get over how fabulous she is.
I think she's definitely like using him, especially just from a child and you have so much deep love for your parents, you know, especially I feel like when you're that young too, usually if you have like a good home life, you're probably pretty attached to like your mom too. I mean, you're just a little kid. It's like, who's going to pick you up when you scrape your knee? Who can you go to when you have a question about homework? It's your parents. Like they do everything for you at that point. Like, I think she uses a lot of his like love to make these threats and she simplifies it down, right? Like she's like, do you love your parents? Well, then do this for me.
Totally. That's exactly exactly what she's doing. And that's the scary part is he's like, well, shit, I guess I have to.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, yeah, that's his aunt. He doesn't know her. He doesn't know her shit. There's no love there. He has love for his parents for sure, but not this bitch.
Not this lady.
Yeah.
And Gladys just maintains the appearance that nothing is strange and nothing is happening the
LOL.
entire time.
She maintains the appearance that nothing is strange.
As she herself is
It's
strange. It's kind of crazy because I also see Alex as almost like another victim of Gladys's. I mean, if anything, he's like the victim of Gladys.
He absolutely is the victim of Gladys. This is a heartbreaking tale.
It's crazy. It's also wild to me that Gladys she's so much more frightening because I feel like she's really good at appearing harmless to whoever she needs to.
She's a chameleon.
Mm-hmm. So now the movie has finally caught up to the present. And we see Alex comes home from school one day and he finds Paul and James are now in his house. So we've circled back to that scene where Paul has taken James out of the cop car and has dragged him inside. Aunt Gladys immediately tells Alex that he needs to pack because they're going to be leaving tomorrow. And then she tells him randomly, quote unquote, do not step over the salt.
Yeah, so the tone has shifted to way more serious. Aunt Gladys is like, the cops are on to us, buddy. You fucked up.
Totally.
Be ready to leave, but don't cross the salt.
Yeah. Later that night, Justine and Archer arrive at the house and watch it from the curb. They see Paul come outside at one point and he appears strangely calm and he invites them inside.
This is pretty funny. He just like walks, his like uncanny wobbly body walks out like, don't, come inside, waves his arm like an idiot, come inside. And Justine and Archer are just like, I guess we should go inside. Oh, well, actually, this is pretty funny. Justine's like, Paul? Archer says, you know him? And Justine goes, yeah. And she says it just like that. It's pretty funny.
So once they get inside, Paul and James then attack Justine and Archer. And this whole like thing, it just becomes very chaotic. Meanwhile, Alex, he's standing in front of Gladys's bedroom door with his parents both blocking the door. And what does this poor guy do? He steps over the freaking salt and his parents immediately go after him. But he does get safely into his room. So we find out that salt was sort of like almost a protection for anybody who was not inside of it. So as soon as you cross over that threshold,
triggered,
you're going to get attacked.
Yeah.
Justine, she manages to get Paul's gun at one point and shoots him while Archer's like beating the shit out of James.
so cavalierly. The thing that breaks my heart is Paul is someone she loves and she's forced to literally take Paul, they're face to face. And he's got her up against this wall and she shoots him point blank with his own gun.
Yep.
And while Archer is fighting James, who just can't die.
And
he keeps throwing James across the room and James, this crackhead, just keeps getting up.
And the scuffle eventually leads them they almost like tumble into like the basement landing and Archer sees the kids standing in the dark in the basement with all of their backs turned towards the doorway. And he discovers it's all 17 of the missing children and that they're seemingly still alive, but they're just like kind of standing there motionless. And meanwhile, Alex, he makes it into Gladys's room and he steals her magic stick. She got the magic stick. Girl, I can drink once, I can hurt twice.
Yeah.
She got the magic stick. And Archer, he's with the children. He is desperately searching for Matthew. He's like pulling each kid, looking at their face. He's like, Matthew.
Here's what's crazy about that is imagine being so steamed up and forced into this situation where you're needing to immediately act and then being so distracted with the promise of maybe finding your kid. Yeah. Like he's aborted the entire mission of everything else.
He doesn't give two shits.
No.
But unfortunately, before he can reach Matthew, Gladys appears and she then takes control of Archer now.
That was another jump scare. I think this is like our final jump scare is like, what the fuck's she doing down there?
Archer then turns on Justine with Gladys guiding him. And Justine is suddenly fighting like the one person who was kind of helping her, who she had at least some sort of, they were colluding together. They had a goal. They had a common thing that they were both trying to figure out.
On the same page.
Exactly. Alex then remembers the ritual that Gladys had used. He takes a strand of Gladys's hair because her hair had been falling out like crazy, so it's like all over her room. And he uses the same ritual that she's done on others, but against her this time. And he breaks the branch, which is kind of the ceremonial thing that like starts the spell whenever Gladys has someone like under her control. And then things change immediately.
You just reminded me somehow, very not unlike Get Out with the teacup, just an immediate
Snap, literally immediate. And also, like, speaking of things breaking, even Obsession. You know, the willow breaks and boom, your wish is granted.
It's trendy. It's a trendy effect.
It's trendy to snap right now.
We love to spend and snap.
The 17 children suddenly awaken from their trance and they chase Gladys through the house and then through the whole neighborhood in the early morning. Gladys realizes that Alex has turned her own magic against her, and she's just running through yards, houses, streets, trying to escape, and these children are just moving as like a single terrifying group. It's so fun and cool to watch.
This is the most insane scene ever. It's so brilliant. It's so funny. I don't know if you know this, but initially in his script, she was just going to be chased a little bit and then, oh no, she dies.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all of a sudden, he's like, what if we just made this absolutely bonkers and spent a lot more money and took a lot more time, which you don't love to hear when you're literally on set making the film, but they did. And we got this beautiful, crazy ass shot. And good for Amy Madigan. You see Aunt Gladys fucking running down the grassy hills of Atlanta or whatever. And these kids are just running after her and they're going, ah. And
you don't know what they're going to do.
No, it's literally this comes out of nowhere and we're all like, what the fuck? It's so funny. And Aunt Gladys this girl deserves every bit of that fucking Academy Award. It is so funny. And then just the continuous shot of these little kids. It's so funny. And they reach the end of this chase. They rip her to shreds. It's brilliant.
Yeah. They literally tear her apart. At first, I had to ask the producer when we were rewatching. I'm like, wait, are they eating her? Or no, they're just using their teeth as a tool to rip her apart. It's fucking crazy.
Limb from limb.
But it's like actually so cool. Like, I'm like, rip that bitch up.
Rip her up. And the funny part too is as they're running through houses and yards and shit, all these other families who are just living their normal lives are like, what the fuck? As these people tear through their yard.
Yeah. It's lots of damage. They've caused lots of damage
Tons.
here. Yeah. In the aftermath and in our final scene of the film, Gladys's death, it breaks her control over all of the people that she had bewitched. So Archer comes back to himself. Justine finds Alex with his parents. Archer finally finds Matthew and is able to bring him home. And these children, they get finally like reunited with their families. I think the little narrator girl comes back in at this point and she says the missing children are slowly recovering and some of them are even eventually beginning to speak again. That's where our film kind of like ends off.
It does. And remember that ADR, the little girl speaking, was added in.
Yeah.
It was originally going to end in Zach Cregger's original film ending. There's no voice. It just ends with that shot of Matthews like smiling with Archer. That's
crazy. I think they needed something that almost made it a little happy. Like it was like almost when you hear a narrator in a fantasy story or something when you're a little kid and it's like, and then they lived happily ever after. You know, it was kind of just like a reassurance that the children are going to be okay.
That's funny because that's absolutely why that's in there. But Zach Cregger didn't think it was necessary. And I also don't think it's necessary.
I like it personally.
There you go.
But that's just me. What were your final thoughts on Weapons?
You guys, we don't have all day. So I'll just say, I think this movie is so fucking brilliant and it really just awakened my passion for film again. That and obviously stopping drinking, it all kind of aligned in a magical way. So thank you to horror and Zach Cregger for meeting me on that level because this movie is just so fucking brilliant. And it reminds me that not every movie has to have some intrinsic lesson or takeaway. Sometimes a movie's a movie and you wrote it because you wanted to not be sad.
Yep.
And that's what it is.
Agreed.
I fucking love this movie. I can't wait to see what else Zach Cregger does. Fuck yeah. What about you?
I also just enjoyed it so much. I really, really, every time I watch it, I get a new appreciation for Aunt Gladys and just her character development. And then also an appreciation for Amy Madigan's just portrayal of her, especially now, even discussing it with you. Some of these themes around grief and manipulation, guilt, fear, like all of them make it more than just a mystery of what just happened to these kids. And it's also super creepy. It's very unpredictable. When I watched this in theaters, and I think a lot of people can agree, I had no fucking idea where this was going. A lot of the scenes too, like there are some good areas that jump at you and scare you, but then it does a really good job mixing with like some dark humor. You get that genuine horror, but dark humor aspect. The biggest downside to me is that I feel like the setup was a bit stronger than the payoff, but that's just my personal kind of thought process. I was like, oh, it's just like an old woman witch. Okay. Like, I don't know what I would have wanted to see instead necessarily.
Here's my question to you.
Okay.
Because in response to that, my question is like, but did you have fun?
Had so much fun.
There you go.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely this is a unique and memorable horror movie. It's absolutely worth watching over and over again. And I've enjoyed it every time I've watched it. It's something that I will rewatch like again and again because it's just like a good time. And I really like that it's a pretty original story in a lot of ways. Or at least Zach Cregger's rendition of this type of story.
And he talks about the movies that inspired this film and the events, obviously, but specifically he's talked about the media he's pulled inspiration from, and it's all fun stuff that we love. And it's just a homie making a fun film, which you have to love and respect.
I also really, really have respect for a film that at the end of it, you have conversations about it with people.
Yeah.
Like it's very much, oh, what was your interpretation of that? What was your interpretation? Like, was there something I might have missed? It's not very straightforward. And I think that's what I really like about it is that it garners like that conversation. It invites people to talk about it. And Zach has even said several times, a lot of the things in the film are just in there. They don't have a secret meeting.
Yeah.
They're not an Easter egg. That's just how his brain worked and how it word vomited onto a script and how it film vomited onto our screens.
Take it or leave it.
Literally.
We come to this place for magic.
Exactly. Well, that was Weapons. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. If you'd like some bonus content, please come over and join our Spooky Chicks social club over on Patreon. Subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever it is that you listen. But as you all know, the best way to support our podcast is just by sharing our show with a friend who loves horror. And with that, Allison, would you like to close us out? Wait, I'm sorry. Aunt Allie.
Oh, don't mind if I do.
Please.
You guys, weaponize your creativity, not your children, and stay spooky, fuckers.